I was in deep conversation with one of my students the other day, and he was blabbering and blabbering on about how his wife wants him to pick up some cream from the store. I looked him down and I looked him up, and in no uncertain words I said, "You're a hustler, aren't you? You're in my hustler's course. Look around you. There's 10 other men in this room. That's 10 creams."
Space, the final frontier. Those were the famous words of notorious physicist slash rapper Cardi B. But to quote another famous physicist slash rapper, Marco Polo, humans have wondered about the stars since their very conception. He didn't actually say that, I just thought it would sound cool for dramatic effect. There's something deeply fascinating about life beyond our own system, or even life beyond our own planet. Everybody always has the same questions, whether you're 14 years old and pulling on that first hair on your nutsack, or you're 80 years old and you're pulling off that last hair off your nutsack. Are we alone? Why do we exist? And more importantly, do the stars hold answers to some of these questions? If you were to ask me, it would be a resounding yes. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that the answers to why we exist are out there in the cosmos. Granted, I'll be long dead before that answer shows up, but still it's a comforting thought. If you also asked me what's the best way of getting these answers, well, I'd say you could either go into the scientific method camp where all the nerds are.
Oh, we need to calculate the volume and density of that gas cloud.
Or you could go into the absolute Chad camp of astrology and just literally say, I feel like my dick is fat today because Mercury is in retrograde. And then we'll hunt down those nerds and eat their asses. Not in a gay way, just we need the protein. I'm fairly confident that if you're watching a guy who looks like me as a male, I don't need to patronize you by giving an explanation of what astrology is, because I'm pretty sure your alt girlfriend with black hair and nipple piercing probably talks to you about it all the time. And if you're a woman watching a guy who looks like me, you probably are that girl with nipple piercings. So I'm just here to inform you guys the community is at war, at least on TikTok subsect. Yeah, it turns out people actually believe this thing is like legitimately real, which blew my mind because I just assumed it was some quirky hobby that losers take up so they can feel kind of spiritual and mystical, even though you're 21 and you're living on your daddy's phone plan, Veronica. You do understand that like mysticism isn't for you. It's for people who are in absolutely horrible situations, who try and find meaning in their life through spiritual focus. Dropping your Starbucks macchiato is not the equivalent of some guy in the middle of Asia who's been living on the side of a Tibetan mountain his entire life. But let's set the stage for this war. In the left-hand corner, we have a man who goes by the name Mystic Rebels, a dude who sells an incredibly expensive astrology course, and who I can only describe as probably the most douchey man you'll ever hear speak in your life. Not because he's ever done anything to me, it's just he radiates that energy of arrogance that's not deserved. In my opinion, he's far too smug for someone who looks like they're in their mid-50s and is practicing astrology on TikTok. And in the right corner, we have a woman who goes by the name Amy Durham, a mid-20s astrology influencer who is clearly quite successful if you just have a look at her house alone, which is a high-rise New York City apartment. Aside from her accurate readings, I'm sure her success is not at all attributed to the fact that she's a 10 out of 10. Isn't it incredible what men's brains will do? Like, I look at this ginger guy and I see him practicing astrology and I think this guy's a massive loser, what a dweeb. And then I look at Amy and my brain's like, oh, she's just helping people. Like, if Ginger Boy here came up to me and started talking about astrology, I'd walk away in disgust. Where if it was Amy, and even if I know it's bullshit, I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm a Cancer, so I'm quite aggressive. Oh, sorry, I dropped my wallet while I was flexing. My great wealth of pennies is spilled all over the floor. Pro tip for any of you youngins out there, bitches love pennies. That's so funny. Yeah, babe, I'll treat you to Louis Vuitton. Let me get my sack of pennies. Anywho, the Civil War. As I already established, both Mystic and Amy run their own astrology business. And what better way to get eyeballs on your astrology business than by making content via TikTok? Doing your general basic sounding methods of drawing customers in. What your birth sign tells about you, why you're a terrible person if you happen to be born in July. For the most part, they were completely unaware of one another. That was until one of Amy's videos went semi-viral.
These are the signs having the best love lives in 2024.
Innocent enough to the untrained eye. But for your master space wizard racist, apparently her video was completely full of errors. Am I going to take the time to point out these errors? Well, no, because for the same reason why I wouldn't watch the Paw Patrol and say the reason they couldn't do the things they were doing. It's silly made up nonsense. Well, it is to me, it wouldn't be to say someone like our friend here, Mr. Mystic, who again, I must reiterate, is probably a man in his mid-30s practicing astrology. I can't stress that enough. A man in his 30s is reading the stars. The only way that is excusable is if that man in his 30s, is going through a midlife crisis after his wife left him, and an astrology hoe decides to teach him the mystic ways. Deano, how dare you dismiss someone's hobbies? Go fuck yourself. Anywho, the point being, Mr. Mystic sees this video, and his blood is absolutely boiling. Probably not helped by the fact that Saturn is up his ass, and the moon is in his cup, so therefore he's more angry. But regardless, his offense is so great towards what Amy said, he has no choice but to respond with a 9-minute TikTok video debunking her.
I could tell you that she wasn't intentionally feeding you lies. Horoscopes for you guys.
That is absurd. 9 minutes of you yapping. Bro, we need some visual stimulation in between at least. Show me some soap videos. Give me that TikTok Chinese movie guy voice. The rat boy Deano criticizes other people unfairly because of his incredibly small penis. But no, he thinks he is making others laugh. But truthfully, they are just laughing at him and his incredibly small penis. Dude, shut up. There are oaks on death row whose testimonies to keep themselves alive are shorter than that. Regardless, Amy sees this video response and she's none too pleased, as she was basically called a liar in the public forum, to which she responds in this manner.
So this guy is attacking TikTok astrologers to promote his own business and his own content.
To which he responds in this manner.
Amy sent me a message on Instagram saying, "Hey, I noticed you made a video about me on TikTok." That's right, I absolutely did. I wanted to reach out to you here. I've dedicated my life to practicing astrology. She goes on and on about how we interpret things differently.
And to which Amy ignores. Amy, realizing that she's got hot girl magic, understands it doesn't matter if she's right or wrong in this made-up nonsense game that they're playing, she still wins. Even with Mystic continuing to debunk future videos of hers, just ignoring him means she wins. It's not as saucy as it could be, and nobody's really a bad guy here except for Mystic because he did show their private DMs on camera. Not a very cool thing to do, homie. But regardless of how this shakes out, they're both scam artists who probably are self-aware that the things that they're spewing is absolute crap, but I don't feel bad for their victims, because as a grown person you should know better that the stars don't tell you how you feel on the day. Hell, I can't even criticize the fact that they're both selling courses for insane amounts of money, because the people who are willing to buy those courses don't deserve to have money to begin with. There's no grand point or lesson in this video. I just couldn't stop laughing at the fact of how absurd this is, because to me there is no difference between what they're doing and kids on the playground playing superheroes, and when the one guy gets hit and dies, he says, "No, I didn't die because Superman has heat vision." The only bit of credit I have to give to them is that they accurately predicted that you're going to subscribe to Deano. That's all I have to say on the matter, guys. I'll see you later. Bye bye.